Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True welcome to Rome Total War Remastered, and oh my. In case you don't know, Rome Total War, one of my favourite games of all time. Like, you asked me to name my favourite games, this one's going in the top 3. And I must have spent literally thousands of hours playing it, and they've gone and remastered it. And, okay, I'm gonna be straight with you. When I first heard about this, I wasn't 100%, okay? I wasn't sure, because my immediate thought was, hang on, I love Rome. I love Rome how it was. Rome how it was already great, already one of my favourites. What are they gonna do? What if they change things? Well, don't worry, let's skip straight to the important part right now. I've had this for a couple of weeks. I have put a lot of hours into it, and this here, this is the gold standard for how remasters should be done. Okay, because any changes basically all pass 3 important criteria, which is they are sensible, they are respectful of the original, and they are entirely optional. You've basically got 2 games for the price of 1 here. Okay, if you want to turn off all the new stuff and just have the original Rome precisely as you remember it, precisely as you already love it, you can do that. You can just have Rome, but you know, prettier, new models, new textures, runs on modern PCs really well, resolutions, aspect ratios, all the rest of it. That's fine, you can have that, but you've also got almost an entirely new game here. Rome 1.5, if you will, which is different, but it still feels very true to the original. So, okay, let's dive in here. You'll see what I mean very quickly. So right here on the campaign screen, you've got a good example of a really good, respectful change, which is you've got twice as many factions as you did back in the original Rome 1, because back in the original Rome 1, you could unlock a whole bunch of factions by defeating them, but there were a whole bunch missing. If you were as into the game as me, then you'll be well aware it was very easy to nip into the game's files and make a tiny couple of tweaks, but some of them were a bit broken and a bit buggy, the victory conditions didn't work right. They've now been fixed, so they're all working properly, and this is good. This is a good addition, because unlike in some later Total War games, where plenty of minor factions are just clones of the main faction you can play as, there were no clone factions in Rome Total War. So the Spanish, for example, had a whole bunch of the Carthaginian army available to them, but also some really solid heavy-hitting barbarian units. Armenians and Numidians both got camels, which no one else got. The Thracians were a really fascinating blend of Greek hoplites and heavy-hitting barbarians. This is a really good improvement while still being massively respectful of the original. Good flippin' stuff, but yeah, I feel like there's only one place I could reasonably start, because if I recall correctly, back in 2015, the very first time I put Rome Total War on this channel, I played as the Scipii, so okay, how about we bring things full circle today? And before we begin, yes, the modifiers. This is where things get a bit on the Rome versus Rome 1.5 side. So yes, you could just, if you wanted to, say, you know what? I want to play classic Rome. Give me Rome, warts and all, everything I remember, precisely as I remember it. You can do that, but as I say, there's a whole bunch of new stuff, so I'm going to shove everything over to Remastered. And to be honest, playing this game going forward, I will almost certainly be overwhelmingly on the Remastered side. The changes are really positive, with one exception. We'll get to the exception, but just for today, I will leave everything on, but yes, there's one thing we're going to need to talk about later. So, welcome to the new campaign map, and as you can see, yes, the fundamentals are as they ever were. We haven't shuffled around with, say, you know, where cities are, where borders are, the size of anything like that. Everything is broadly as it ever was, just a lot prettier, and now with reflections too. So, the core game is basically unchanged. Don't worry, they've not messed anything up. That's nice, that's absolutely lovely. In fact, if anything, yes, I like the, there feels like there's a bit more diversity of biome going on here. So down in the Mediterranean, like the countryside is a bit of a different colour to how it is up in northern Europe. Then you've got this territory over here in the northeast. As you head over here, you've kind of got more distinct, obvious desert. Also, I like there's now a mosaic around the edge of it, and in each corner, there's a unit that's vaguely appropriate to that corner of the map. So over here next to Britain, you've actually got British swordsmen. Down over here, you've got elephants, because you're close by to Carthage. Then you've got cataphracts by Parthia, and then you've got horse archers close by to Scythia. That's adorable. I approve. And yes, the UI has changed a bit, but to my mind it's very easy to get to grips with, and in some ways it is actually, yeah, a lot easier to work with in general. So Blue cities, those are your allies. Red, they're your enemies, and yellow is currently neutral. So at a glance, it's easier to tell, you know, who you're at war with, who you're not, just in case you've somehow managed to forget. Down over here, you got yourself, yes, a complete list of your cities, a complete list of your standing, leaders and armies and whatnot, a complete list of your agents, and a complete list of your fleets. So, pretty useful. Then if you go into an actual city itself, same basic idea, that kind of UI carries through. So you've got the buildings you've got in this settlement, and then you can click here if you want to, build some more buildings. You've got the local units, and if you want to train some more units as well. If there were local agents, or if there were local fleets, i.e. inside a port, if there is a port, then they will be here as well. Lovely. Though, obviously, yes, you've also got over here if you want to. If you just want to skip straight to recruitment or construction or indeed a building browser, that's all over there. Nice easy to get used to. It is a bit different. It was a bit off-putting at first to see, yes, the UI had shuffled around, but it is pretty easy to use and get your head around. So that's all absolutely fine. And yes, obviously, this is the Scipii campaign, which is basically just, it's just mean. Okay, the Senate says to the Julii, hey, this barbarian village with no walls, how about you just walk in and take that? Oh, what's that? Brutii, how about you nip over here to this village, also with no palisade or anything, and you just take that. And as for my good friends the Scipii, how about you head down to flipping Syracuse, a massive, well-defended, full of hoplites Greek city with massive stone walls, and you take that out. Yeah, you know what? I feel like the Senate is playing favourites and it's not in my favour. So how about we just leave those guys for now, because yes, my spy can go around the corner and discover, right flipping here, oh my goodness, Carthaginian. So I feel like in many ways, Rome and Carthage, we ain't gonna be friends. So alright, let's just, let's pull all of this together. Right, has started, new unit cards of course, but they're fine. I've got no problem with them. You guys move over here. I think we're going to be kicking off with, yes, some lovely, lovely Carthaginian murder. And also just slap down one nice watchtower. Pick up the mercenaries, because we need to, man up as fast as possible here. And then all units report to the faction leader. There we go, that's a good thing. Right, everyone, just get over the water to flipping Sicily, fast as you flipping like, please. Okay, Carthage appear to be counter-invading, and Greece wants to have a chat. Yes, diplomacy's had a bit of a refresh, by the way, which was really needed because Rome was an odd universe where people wandered about yelling, please not attack us, and if you don't accept, we will attack you. Everyone loves getting that message 5 times a year for the entire game. And then all the diplomats would get bored and go off a party in Scythia. It was very, very weird indeed. So now there's a visible reputation system where if you break your pledges, people aren't going to want to deal with you. But if you're very good and you're honourable, people are more willing to accept all sorts of bits and pieces. In fact, you know what? We're all having a lovely party next to each other, where, yes, he was invading Greece, I was invading him, and Greece is now just sort of going to stand by. So, alright, Carthage, let's me and you have it out and see the new units in action. Oh, Rome, it's good to have you back, because, oh, just look at this. Look at this right here. So, yes, we attacked Carthage in a valley between 2 massive mountains and mountain ranges. So what have we got? Massive mountain over there, massive mountain over there, loads and loads of hills, and as a result of that, yes, I can take the high ground and shoot down at them. Because in Rome, every battle map was dynamically generated, meaning there was a real feeling of connection between the battle map and the campaign map, and they just announced they'd added this in to Mount and Blade 2, as if it was, you know, an exciting thing that Rome wasn't doing flipping 17 years ago, and Total War games don't do this anymore. They haven't done this for years. Seriously, Creative Assembly, bring this back, dynamic battle maps. It's the way, it's such a good feature. So, say hello to your brand new units, by the way. And you may notice, yes, the big important thing here, they're no longer all clones. There's a lot of variety going on with, well, you can't really see the hair on this occasion because they're wearing helmets. But facial hair, facial features in general, yes, there's like basically infinite variants of troops floating around here, which is really, really cool indeed. And you may also notice there's a tiny bit of ethnic variance going on in the unit. This I love. I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to see it today, but what happens is units are ethnically made up of, logically, what they would be recruited out of, depending on where you've raised them. So, if I were to raise a unit up in Northern Europe, it would overwhelmingly be Caucasian. If I were to take that unit down as far as south in the map as I can go in Africa, and then I lose half of them and I retrain them locally, that unit is then going to be roughly 50% Caucasian and 50% African, and that's amazing! That's absolutely amazing! I love that, that's such a good touch. Plus, the materials in general are just a lot better now. For example, yes, if you actually go back and look at the original models in Rome, you may notice that lots of the stuff was just faked. So, shadows on the units were actually just painted on, and glints on metal, that was just painted on. It was just a trick of the texture. Whereas now, yeah, the glints on the helmet, that's actually real because the sun is... there it is. There's the sun right there. So yes, the glint on their helmet is actually the sun. But if we were to just make them face the other way nice and quick, then all of a sudden... it's no longer on the front of the helmet, you can sort of see it on the back instead. So yes, everything just looks a lot flipping nicer, and I love the variety. The idea of units reflecting the ethnic makeup of where they're from, that's genius, I love it. Oh, here's a nice one, by the way. You can now just rearrange your units. You didn't used to be able to do this. Units were just stuck as they were. But now if you want to, you can just say, okay, I just want my, various bits of infantry to all be together. So I'm just going to put them together, and I'm going to put the ones with the higher experience over on the left, so they're right next to the general. So you can just group these guys, obviously. Grouping's still a thing. But if you want to, you can just rearrange your units however you want to, which is just absolutely lovely. You didn't used to be able to do that. Now, you may also have noticed, by the way, yes, a whole bunch of yellow cones. Now this I really like. So... the UI is another example of the team just saying, you know what, enjoy Rome however you want to. So, Empire Total War was the first that actually had firing arcs that you could see. So, now if you want to, you can have them on. However, if you think, you know what, I don't like those, so I'm going to turn those off. You can just, hold down spacebar anytime in the fight, doesn't need to be at the beginning, and you can just turn those off, and now they will never appear. Alternatively, you could say, you know what, not only do I like those, I like them so much, I want them to be locked and permanently on. So now, they're just always on. You can always see what your unit can hit, which, you know, for factions, depending on range or artillery, could potentially be useful. So for me, I'll probably keep them, not on all the time, but I'll have them on whenever either the unit is selected, or I'm holding down spacebar, which is great. Hiding foliage, this one's good. This one's really good, because... if you ever fought in the forests of Northern Europe in the original, you may recall, they can be pretty dense. This one's easy, but the dense forests up in Europe, you can't see what's bloody going on. So, Warhammer style, you can now get rid of that if you want to, either by holding down space or making it permanent. That's lovely as well. One more slightly controversial one, however, is unit display status. So, this is a new bit of UI. I personally am not the biggest fan of this. So if you turn this on and permanent, then every unit always has this thing over its head, telling you, okay, how fresh is a unit right now? How's its morale doing? How much ammo does it have? How's it doing in terms of health? But if you zoom right out, it starts filling up a lot of real estate. So for me, I don't really like this. I think it's a little bit too much. But then that's the joy of Rome Remastered. You can just say, you know what? I don't like that, so I'm going to turn it off. And now it will never appear, because I've just turned it off. And you can do that with just about everything. Everything in this game, have it your way. You want the new stuff, have the new stuff. You don't want the new stuff, turn it off. It's great. Okay, they've got the smaller army, so I can be pretty tight and all drawn up together, which means I can maximize my fire. Start the battle. Where are the elephants? Okay. I see you guys over there. Hello there, Mr. Elephant. So, okay. The elephants are going to be the primary target of all of my skirmish fire. So I want you guys in position, ready to deal with that. Archers, flaming ammunition should be a-okay. And what else do we have over here? That's General's Bodyguard. That's some Numidian mercenaries. We're going to struggle to hit them. But my archers should do the job. And with the advantage of, height, my archers should actually start firing sooner rather than later. This is the thing about Rome. The actual cones are a bit not accurate, because when you've got height advantage, you gain bonus range. So we're already starting to fire with certain units. Now, at some point, he's going to charge forward. We're going to do some good damage to all of these guys. There we go. That's nice. That's really nice, in fact. So if we could start laying down the fire on the elephants, I would appreciate it. You guys should be overwhelmingly focusing on that. Fall back. If you'd be so kind, I just want this guy to take a few javelins to the face. And he's going to hit the back of my velites, but he's also going to run straight into my my phalanxes. So, to be honest, why are you guys not firing at will? Guys, fire at will. Dear, oh dear. Okay, I could countercharge if I wanted to. And also, Numidian mercenaries have decided to come in. Okay, well, I'll countercharge them with my heavy cavalry. That's fine. The elephants are not keen on getting involved right now. These Numidian mercenaries will break in a matter of seconds. And yes, routing units died fast back in these days. And now we just close the door on their general. He's wavering. And I'm sorry, buddy, but you're not getting away. So cavalry up the jacks here. Units died fast back in these days. If you've played a lot of Warhammer recently, this might actually be a little bit unnerving to you. Because, yes, you're probably used to units taking massive charges, then just sort of getting up again afterwards. No, not back in these days. Back in these days, units died fast, and when they were routing, they were cut the flip down, alright? If you broke, you weren't getting up again if there was cavalry within 100 meters of you. Oh my goodness, it's happening. The elephants have gone berserk, and as a result of that, they're now going to be taking out their own flippin' slingers. Well, that's just... I mean, it's entertaining to watch, so screw it. Oh yeah, send them flying, flippin' love it. And as the last Carthaginian goes down, I've got one very important thing to confirm.
Rome demands victory from her generals, and this day is clearly our victory!
Okay, he didn't say the thing, but in general, the day is ours, voice crack narrator man. He's alive and well. The music, the voice samples, the pre-battle speeches, it's all still there. Obviously, no one would be dumb enough to change that. Okay, my main army's now kind of trapped right here by, yeah, these Greek forces who are in each other's zone of control. But I do have some reinforcements coming in. Oh, guys, I've got bad news. Well, actually, I've got good and bad news. I've got good news for you, watching, ladies and gentlemen. I've got bad news for these Carthaginian bastards. Oh, boo, they're just out of range. Okay, well. Keep that cliffhanger in mind, because seriously, this guy's got a very important special ability to show off. All the old school reports are still here, by the way, so yes, if you like your old stuff, it's always floating around, together with ongoing missions you might currently have, and news, together with alerts that kind of, emerge as you play, like the spying mission to Syracuse. So all of that's still here, it's just had a bit of a fresh coat of paint. Okay, following turn, and I'd say it might just be time for Gaius Scipio's new trick. So it's so important, in fact, I'm going to send the faction leader off home. I don't want the faction leader here right now. Alright, it works more in my favour if he just naffs off to a different bit of Sicily, because, oh, this is where life gets sexy. Let's just begin the attack over on, beautiful Lilybium. I want to be having that, obviously, and, our chap has got himself, yes, fight a night battle. This is a thing in Barbarian Invasion. When a general gets up to 4 stars in command, he can start fighting night battles, which mostly means reinforcements can't show up unless the leader of that army is also a night fighter. This was a brilliant system. It's kind of like Lightning Strike in Warhammer, and obviously it's had a bit of a visual refresh as well, and it's really rather pretty these days. Because not only the flame's a lot nicer, of course, yes, there's a proper new lighting and shading engine thingy McJibble going on, so, oh, it looks a lot nicer. The town plaza also gets a little bit lit up too, it's really nice. It's got a lovely glow to it, just like Barbarian Invasion did. And you may also notice, of course, they have not dared to change the layouts of the towns. Those are all as they ever were, and as it bloody well should be, so... Okay, just gonna knock down the gates, walk straight up the main street. Lovely. Right, skirmishers going in, seeing if we can land a couple of light little knocks over the top. Yep, they have got their cavalry going at us, but that's fine. Now, I concede, I suspect the new arrow effect will be a little bit controversial, because, kind of like in Three Kingdoms, it's now got that little white swish after it, which makes it a lot more visible, but to my mind, I kind of preferred the original, where it was just single shafts that was a bit more realistic, I suppose. But this new system is more readable, so I'm not really too upset by it. Oh, the corpses keep burning! Oh, that's nice. Okay, they don't get entirely, burnt to a crisp or anything, but I do approve of the fact that the corpses keep burning afterwards. Now that's nice. I'll give them, and that was one hell of a big burst of dust right there. Love it. Can confirm, horses also keep burning. Horses and their riders independently keep burning after being taken down by flaming ammo, and I approve. Oh, look at that. Even the corpses have a lovely glow to them. You can literally see where you've been firing based on the glow of the corpses. Okay, I'm getting more joy out of this than is probably, emotionally healthy. But still, I approve of it. Okay, pushing up with our handful of Hastati and whatnot, we finally managed to pull the actual leader into the fight. I'm going to see if I can, lay down some Pila on him from behind. Generally, units were not terrible in Rome, but trying to just kind of drop in a handful of shots. So this unit is not going to survive, but he is going to die doing good work, damn it. And as soon as they fail, that's fine. We have got more Hastati right here just to keep on keeping on, alright? We're going to chop through them. The reason, the first unit takes no damage is because General's bodyguards have multiple hit points, which most units in this game don't. So that first unit was just chopping through hit points. This unit should be much more effective. And I've got hoplites coming in too. Yeah, here we go, look at that. So now they've run out of hit points, they're now running straight into flipping phalanxes, and they're not gonna have a good time there. And just look at that. Basic general's unit is just falling apart in seconds. You gotta soften him up. If I'd just let him charge straight into the phalanx, he would have broken through. Because I'm playing on very hard, very hard. You gotta soften him a bit first. Just eat a handful of that. And even then, look here, over on one side, they are starting to make a bit of progress, so I need to send in a handful of reinforcements just to seal the deal. No, we're good. The job is done. Their general's dead. Now we can just walk in. And time for the last showdown here. Town militia, already shaken, charging straight into, phalanxes. Welcome to Rome Total War, where phalanxes in city streets are impassable murder machines as long as you set them up right. And this is... oh, the night battles are gorgeous. And yes, indeed, if you knock over a city in a night battle, when you go back to the campaign map, the entire map is now in night mode. Isn't that just a lovely touch? I think that's gorgeous. It's just great. Okay, repair up the walls and give me some roads. That's going to help out with, obviously, a bit of a boost to income. And speaking of income, okay, so... this is part of the suite of changes that the game calls campaign changes. This is a really good little modification right here. So, you may recall back in the days of old Rome, yes, sometimes you'd see a city that the game said, this city is losing money, it has negative income. And the reason that happened was because of the baffling way Rome Total War chose to report how money was made and spent, which is, it took the amount of money that your city was making, then it said, okay, now let's deduct the amount of money that city has to contribute to, the entire empire. And we're going to do that by taking the cost of your empire, dividing it between your cities, using a ratio of population. The bigger the city, the more it's supposed to contribute. If the assigned contribution is greater than the amount of money the city is making, we're going to record that as a negative, even if the city was making a giant pile of money. And that was really confusing, because I would not blame anyone who took one look at that and said, okay, my city's losing money, that means it's literally losing money. The cost of maintaining it must be higher than the money it's bringing in. But no, this was a mad system, for the simple reason that cities in Total War are not made equal. A massive city inland is always going to make less money than the same size city by the coast, because cities by the coast can have ports, and ports are just money printers in this game. So it led to all sorts of weird stuff in the reporting that did not look right. That has been fixed in Remastered. When you hover over a town, all it tells you is how much money is being generated in this town. And that money is, yes, the farms, the taxes, and the trade. The only thing taken off is corruption. There might be a tiny bit of... no, we've got no corruption anywhere right now because I'm just amazing at this game, clearly. So, yes, if there was corruption, because that's purely a local issue, it would be taken off at this point. But other than that, no. All the cities tell you is how much money they're making. If you want to know the overall picture, it's up here in the top right. So, yes, huge improvement. That's much better in terms of how income and expenditure is reported. Yes, and if we've got money troubles, well, the Greeks do seem to have rather come to Avigandra, what's going on in Sicily, and I'm sorry guys, what's going on in Sicily is, we're taken over. Oh, they don't want to fight, and they've fallen back to the sea. So okay, dynamic battle map should have them pressed up against the ocean. And me, I've got cavalry nearby to assist. So, alright, get in over here, lovely. And, oh dear, this is my faction leader, so sadly, he can't lead night battles. What can you do, eh? Oh, we've got ourselves forest, actually. Oh, blimey, a lot of forest. So yes, if we want to, we can now get rid of all the forest tops, which is definitely good under the circumstances, because seriously, forests in this game, this one's not bad. They can be seriously dense. And because the map makes sense, we also know where our reinforcements are coming from. Should be this corner over here. And there they go. Speaking of reinforcements, by the way, under Remastered, yes, reinforcements can never be delayed. This used to be a thing all the time because the engine used to panic about whether it could, keep up with what was going on in the world. So as a result of that, yes, it constantly just delayed reinforcements until enough people were dead. Now, you can turn that off. If you want to, you can just have all the reinforcements in the world, have the biggest battle you want to, because PCs have made some progress in the last 17 odd years. Now, Greeks. Dangerous but slow. Impractical in terms of flexibility. So, okay. Priority is, we need to take out those archers. Once we've taken out the archers, we should be able to just pick them apart. So, first things first, use my cavalry, because they don't have a general. So they've got no cavalry on the field at all. Okay, we got a handful of peltasts over here. A little bit dangerously close to this here phalanx. So I'm just going to... I'm going to keep them dancing. Sooner or later, we'll have the opportunity to nail them while my general is, trying to find these here archers. And peltasts, good. Good. Guys, get over there. We managed to hit them. And if we're very, very lucky indeed, look at that. They should melt pretty darn fast. Cavalry, very good at dealing with all that nonsense. Where's the archers? There's the archers. Just make sure there's nothing else hidden in the woods. But these guys should already be... wavering. They'll break momentarily, hit these archers, and then it's just a question of finishing off the phalanxes. Okay, use my X-ray general vision on spacebar to spot all of them, and seriously, in forest, this is so useful. I'm going to come up with a new formation here. We're going to have, we're going to approach, we're going to box them in, and we're just going to hit them from every angle. And, oh, here it comes. Here comes the fire. Militia hoplites, terrifying up front, but... they're not going to do so hot all of a sudden, and here we go. Everybody just start firing, if you'd be so kind. Lovely. And all of the... Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. That's the stuff right there. If you've never played this game before, by the way, the first time you take on phalanxes, they're gonna feel just unfair and broken. But I promise, they're not. It's fine. All you gotta do is be... remarkably flipping patient. Take your time, surround them. Yeah, we just got these guys surrounded, and now at this point we should be absolutely a-okay. Also, not sure if we're going to be able to see this. Yes, as the fight goes on, dirtiness starts kicking in. I'm not sure whether we actually had... okay, that's a tree. We killed that tree. I'm guessing that's where the enemy leader was. But yes, as the fight goes on, the troops start picking up, dirt and grime and whatnot. So that's just flipping lovely as well. Oh, and do we just have enough movement points to get in over here and get into Syracuse? Good, because, you guys have got heavy cavalry. A lot of heavy cavalry, actually. That's gonna be fun. Okay, let's talk about the thing, which is, as you may have noticed earlier, the changes in this game tend to be grouped into little, genres. Like, say, there are balance changes that boil down to some units have had their stats slightly tweaked, though I've not noticed any huge differences, so it's pretty minor, it's not a big deal. Then there's, battle changes, like, say, we have got those lovely night battles. If it's raining, that has an impact on flaming ammunition. That's good, that makes sense. The reinforcements thing I mentioned, now you can always reinforce. Again, thumbs up, love it. However, there is one small problem that you may again have already noticed if you were paying attention, which is, inside the campaign remaster settings, there's a load of good stuff. Alright, so for example, academies now actually do something. You may remember back in the original game, you could send a young kid to a city with an academy and he could spend years there and you wouldn't really be sure whether it made any difference or not. They're now more powerful than they used to be. Mercenaries can now be retrained. If there are appropriate local mercenaries, you can retrain mercenaries back up to strength. That there, love it. But there's one big-ass problem that's tied to all of those changes. Because Rome had one elegant system that I've been calling to return to Total War for, basically decades at this point. And that is a real population system. So, when you actually train a unit, that many men get taken out of the population to represent the fact those men are no longer taxpayers. So if you train large numbers of armies, you're hurting your tax base, you're slowing down how fast your cities are getting up to the next level, you're slowing down your tech progress. It's got to be something you pay attention to. You can't do it freely. Now, that system's still in the game, but it's been mitigated slightly. So this here unit of peasants right now, that's actually got 240 men in it, because I'm playing on the huge unit scale. There is an extreme unit scale where peasants have got 300, but then you're getting into the sort of unit size where you're actually bigger than the streets were designed to hold, because obviously the game was never designed originally in terms of street layout for extreme unit size, so it kind of starts creating pathfinding issues. So I need to experiment with that. But yes, therefore, if I train this unit, 240 men should be taken out of the population. And instead, no. 60 men, the same amount that would be taken if I believe you were on normal unit scale. This is now standardized across all unit scales. No matter what unit scale you're on, the number of men taken out of the population is the same as if you were on normal. And I hate this. I absolutely hate this because, to my mind, this was Rome's most elegant system. The fact that when you raised an army, it was economically devastating for the local area. And even better, it meant there was actually a cap on how much the enemy could throw at you. Now, if you've played any of the more recent Total Wars, let's say you've played some Warhammer, you've probably run into the scenario where you're at war with someone and you beat their army, then 5 turns later, the same army shows up again because they just built a new one. You kill it again, shows up again. Kill it again, shows up again. And it will keep coming forever, because in Warhammer, there is no real consequence to an army being destroyed. Legendary lords can't die. Any army can just be rebuilt forever. You'll never run out of men because there's no concept of population or men in the actual flipping game. In Rome, you can actually starve your enemy of men into a situation where they physically can't raise troops anymore. You have basically just bled an empire so dry it cannot raise an army anymore. And it's amazing you can do that. It's the most appropriate thing for a game about Rome. Because as per Tacitus, something that was said about the Romans is they make a desert or a wasteland and they call it peace. This was actually a thing in the ancient world, just tossing so many bodies at your enemy that you eventually drained their manpower dry. This was an idea that Imperator Rome also played with to some extent. It's an important ancient idea. Instead, with even the largest units only taking 60 men out of your population, growth rate is going to more than offset that most of the time. And I think that's a huge step backwards. And the problem with everything being grouped together into one big campaign settings is either I turn the game to classic mode where I get my population back and, together with extreme unit size, raising a single unit of peasants is 300 men and yes, thank you. But if I do that, I lose all the other remastered stuff, like Squalor making more sense, upkeep and income being displayed more sensibly, mercenaries getting retrained, all the other campaign stuff I have to give up if I want my population system back. So I'm begging you, give me an advanced campaign setup screen where I can turn on and off each thing individually, because I desperately want to have my population system as it should be, but I also want the other improvements. So you're 99% of the way there. 99% of these changes are good. They're brilliant. I love them. Let me have my population system, please. I'm begging you. Hello, John from the future here. Before I could even get this video out, I spoke to the dev team and they've made a really simple mod for me, which has basically already fixed this issue. It turns out it's incredibly simple to fix this one thing while still having the other benefits of Remastered. It's literally just a case of changing a bunch of zeros into a bunch of ones. So this was my only complaint about the game and it's already been fixed. So basically 10 out of 10 game of the year. Let's move on, shall we? Aha, and right next to Syracuse, yes, a bit of a surprise. This one really took me by surprise, by the way. So, okay, I mentioned earlier, we got night battles, so stuff from Barbarian Invasion has made its way back into Rome. So stuff from Medieval flipping 2. So, merchants from Medieval 2 are now in the game. They are just agents now, you can turn them off, they live in their own group. So that one's easy, you turn them off, you turn them on, no trouble at all. So, if you want to have merchants, like in Medieval 2, where they're just agents, that just, hang around the map and monopolise it, thereby making you money, and they can also, buy each other out and stuff, yes, you can do that, that's a thing. But they're not just the same as Medieval 2, they're actually a bit more interesting. So rather than just standing on things and thereby making a bit of money, instead they seem to, sort of create new trade routes between whatever city they came from, which is why they always have a name assigning them to a city, and the territory they're standing in, where the amount of money is a function of not just how good they are, but also how big the city that they come from is, and also how big the stack they're standing on is. I need to look into this in more detail, I don't have time to go into it all today, but they seem a lot more interesting, so I will be investigating those a lot more thoroughly as time goes by. Though first, yes, let's take out Syracuse, because that city could be worth a lot of good money. First time we've seen a level 3 city and walls, by the way, so yes, the walls in particular have had a bit of a refresh. So I'd say they look a fair bit nicer than they used to, which is good. There's a lot more variety in the city, a lot more decoration, a lot more just, random clutter to give it a bit of life, which is very, very nice indeed. So, yeah, not a huge change. As I say, the layout is the same, but the actual buildings and whatnot do look a bit nicer and more interesting than they used to. Alright, towers forward, let's go. We got plenty of towers, and yes, Greeks are kind of at a disadvantage on the walls because they're at their strongest when they're in a phalanx. You cannot form a phalanx when you're on the walls. So as a result of that, yeah, they're kind of a bit weaker than they would be. Better to take them out here than fight them down on the ground. Oh, here we go. Crowned and up top here. Any moment now, anytime we're ready to go. We did lose one tower, unfortunately. So, yeah, that was a fair few people dead. But they've just diverged into this tower. Would have been better if we could have, got them surrounded. But, what can you do? Any moment they'll be coming in. And, yeah, we got reinforcements streaming in from the side. So, that's all going to be fine. You guys getting over here. And also get up top. Looks like the Hastati are moving in over here. And yes, one-on-one, the Hastati should do okay when they're not in a phalanx. These guys are tough. These guys do have good armor and whatnot. But, yeah, when they're being slowly pushed towards the edge, and we got more and more people piling in, we should be golden if we're very lucky. Come on, are we going to have someone... Oh! Someone just did a dramatic fall. Come on, let's have some more dramatic falls here. And... there we go. Everybody loves dramatic wall fighting. Excellent. So, by now we should have... Yep, we got this over here. Just go into melee mode. Get over here and seize the gates if you can. There we go. Enemy walls have already been captured. How are you guys doing? You guys are steady, because the fighting is slow. Bring in the general. He can stand nearby to provide a bit of, a morale benefit. Would be lovely if we could have had people coming in from this direction, but at this point, yeah, this is not where hoplites want to be. Okay, the militia hoplites have turned to deal with my Hastati, but we are holding firm on the wall. I'm bringing in all of these lads, and in just a moment, you guys should be in a good position to, you know what, you guys get over here and take this tower. And now we can just start, yes, with no more defences on the outside, you guys are going to be breaking momentarily. Good, 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 good. Okay, and with them falling apart nice and fast, we should at this point be able to, yes, just chunk our way through these poor bastards. You guys can probably stop firing at this point. You guys can stop too. Never mind, you've already used up your ammunition, whatever. You guys just wait outside in that case. Yes, now we just need to... deal with the last handful, and by last handful I mean literally all the heavy cavalry. Still, good taking of the walls there, that'll do as a starting point. Okay, I may have kicked off this fight a little bit earlier than I was planning to. This is, yes, the downside of giant unit scales. Sometimes units just sort of go where they're not supposed to be going. My archers aren't actually ready at this point, and my archers are nowhere near the right position. But if you guys could just... Guys, I'm gonna need you guys to be getting involved. Like, soon, actually. Everybody forward, everybody start firing. Right, that's starting to be weakened. I'm going to send in my own general to countercharge. You guys just keep moving forward. Yeah, the problem is if they don't have a shot, they're not going to take it. So they're kind of obscured by all of this, actually. And I just kind of need these guys to move forward. Yes, we're going to try and counter-push them as best we can. And then you guys... Seriously, guys, just keep going. Keep going. It's fine. Yeah, now, when they try and fall back, they're going to be going straight into some lovely, lovely spears. In fact, you know what? Get over here and hit the weaker one. just get in and start poking them right up the arse, please. One of them is trying to pull back. You've broken. Yes, that's one of them that's broken. And enemy general is routing straight into... Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay, that just about worked out. But seriously, taking Syracuse is not easy. The game is so mean to the flipping Skippy eye. Yes, now as we pull the army together, yes, this is a lovely new feature. There's now a follower manager, so back in the days of old Rome, if you wanted followers to move from person to person, then you needed them to, you know, meet, to exchange, and very often a useless child would be used to ferry valuable followers around the empire, and it was kind of weird when you think about it. So now, that's not a thing. If you've got a follower on anyone in your empire, you can move them to anybody else. It just takes a certain amount of time during which they'll be inactive, depending on how geographically far apart they are. So here we go, my one knight fighter. I kind of want him to, you know, be as good as possible. So, drill master, movement points. Yes, I'd like him to move. It's going to take 3 turns for him to arrive, but that means it's just going to happen by itself. So that there is very, very easy. I think you can still do it manually if you want to, but yeah, if you want to just handle it automatically when you've got a bigger empire, just do it that way. Very, very nice indeed. And naturally, I don't think we could wrap up, you know, a Scipio video without burning Carthage to the ground. No, 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 no. Oh, there she is. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So you guys just go and, yeah, get into position to help out. You guys, straight up the front, please. We're going to be running... Oh, that's going to be a bit dangerous. Yeah, this was not a good angle to approach. So, okay, instead, I'm sending my men straight into some form of kill box, if you will. So that's promising. That's going to be great. Still, we do get some elephants here, and oh my goodness, they are... Oh, they're lovely. Look at that elephant skin texture. That's very, very nice indeed. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to be deploying dogs at them. Because dogs versus elephants, that just sounds hilarious. Okay, Iberian infantry are just being, pinched in the middle right over here. And then we have got ourselves gatehouse secured. So Astarte piling in to fight the Libyan spearmen. But to be honest, these guys are specialists at, you know, taking on cavalry. They're not really so good at taking on light infantry, so these guys are fine. But we should be able to just cut our way through them eventually. Okay, army moved inside. We got units blocking up all the streets. We got archers ready to support. I've got 10 million mercenaries I 100% don't need, but screw it, we'll have them nearby anyway. Because yes, as I say, the key important point here is we are finally going to settle the long-running debate. Who wins a fight between 100 dogs and 24 elephants? And to be honest, my money is actually on the elephants, yes. Right, dogs have been released. Let's just get the handlers out of there. And also, let's just have a little bit of a look-see at the dogs, by the way. Because they also, yeah, they used to have very rough faces. Oh, they look much cuter now, though also fearsome. So, okay, dogs versus elephants. We can just begin that. And by the way, I think it's, you know, it's not against the rules for the archers to support. Because the archers are going to shoot the dogs as... Oh, bloody hell, the dogs are being... Okay, the dogs... okay, I wasn't expecting that, but fine.
The gods be praised! The enemy general is dead!
Right, well, the elephants have... No, the elephants have gone mad. The elephants are now mad. I'm pretty sure the dogs drove the elephants mad, and as a result of that, the elephants killed the general. Marvellous. Well done, everybody involved. No, never mind. You say berserk, I say sensible, because they do appear to be just running away right now, so fair enough, to be honest. There we go. Slap down that banner, and you know what? It's Carthage. You just kinda have to, don't ya? And I can confirm one other very important thing hasn't changed either. The Seleucids have immediately been dogpiled from every single direction, so they'll probably cease to exist in about 10 turns. Marvellous. Yes, and better, there's that drill master I sent over with the new, companion screen. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I suspect that's all the time I've got today. I'm only allowed to show you so much, but, hopefully you're as excited as I am, because this here, one, very true to Rome, creating something that is, you know, true in spirit while still improved. There's so much really damn good stuff, and obviously, I'm going to need to, dig into this a little bit more to see how it compares to the original. So I can't show you more right now, ladies and gentlemen, but watch this space because this will be back. This will be back as soon as I can bring it to you because, oh my goodness, we have got adventures to go on. So hopefully you are looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Rome Total War Remastered. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
This guy's enjoying that. This guy's enjoying his elephant a bit too much.
Oh my god.
In Fair Verona, we set our scene. Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big.
They've managed to glitch inside one of the buildings. Elephants in the rear! And then in come the chariots!